really realized I need to come back on my childhood
Wow.
to have the camera to start to record because I was like feeling so bad. No anyone during that 30 years document anything.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to What the Photo. My name is Liohn. I'm a photojournalist, and I'm here doing this work, that I call What the Photo, because once I decided to reflect about the reasons of, behind why I do what I do, because this is a question that I receive very often. And one thing that always comes into my mind, my big question, because I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, I'm a friend of people that I care about. And one of the biggest questions I think in this profession is how far do you want to go to make it happen? Not to make it happen in the sense like, how much success are you going to have in your career? That's not the case. I'm saying that how far do you want to go to make it happen, to make photojournalism to become important, to make it to happen, to make journalism to happen. And I think that photojournalism, it happens when the big questions are made, when the things are, changes are at least proposed, even if the changes doesn't will not happen, because in the end of the day we are only doing photography, but at least the changes have been proposed, or someone has challenged the system for these changes to happen. And my guest he did exactly that. He challenges the system from the country where he comes from to change. His name is Ali Arkady. He's an Iraqi Kurdish photographer. He's not living in Iraq anymore. He had to leave, to abandon his country, his birth country, because in 2017, during the war against ISIS in Mosul, Ali photographed how the Iraqi special forces of the Iraqi Federal Police were torturing the people that they were arresting, suspect of being members of ISIS. That costed Ali a lot. As I said, he had to, flee his country, had to abandon his country. He managed to take his family with him because it was life-threatening to him. He could be killed if he stayed there. And even today, he is, living in a certain kind, taking certain kinds of precautions for not being end up in trouble, even if he's not living in Iraq anymore. Don't mistake me, because Iraqis are the best. I love Iraqis. I have many beautiful memories and friends in Iraq, inside the federal police, because I was working with them as well. But the point is, these people, it doesn't matter, the society, it doesn't matter how many good people you have in society. Society functions by itself, and it takes a lot of courage and compromise to challenge those problems that happen. And Ali did it. So please follow this conversation to the end. It's a little bit longer than we normally do it. For myself, I would, stand for much more longer time, but I know that very few people would see it to the end. So anyhow, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this channel and enjoy the conversation. Thank you very much. Hello, Ali.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
How
How
are
are you,
you?
man?
Oh, nice to meet you and speak with you.
Yeah, you look good. Looking good.
Thanks. You see me, yeah? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I can see you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you, it's not bad.
Yeah, we are like
So
similar.
here, there.
Well,
Yeah,
good looking people.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
How's everything?
everything is good. I'm in Italy. Where are you now?
I am in Europe. We can say in France. Yeah, but I'm just saying Europe. Like in media, I say Europe. I don't say France.
Oh,
Like
okay.
a
So
little bit
you
more.
you,
Yeah,
you can't say exactly where you are, right?
yeah, yeah. We can say Europe. It's better.
Europe is better.
Like yeah, when I live in Europe, but sometimes like friends and some people, I say I study in France. Like because already I study art also in France.
Right.
uh, Fine art school, like Beaux-Arts, how it's called.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that because of something of your work that you can
It's
mention
kind
where
of until
exactly
now.
where you are?
It's started when yeah, because my work in 2017 when I traveled, it's still like how it's called, security or fair a little bit, you know.
Right. Yeah.
It's insecure, personal more, you know, because it's
Mm-hmm.
safe here, there's no problem, but its first year, second year was a little bit hard, but now it's better. No,
Right.
but in general, I don't say, but step by step, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, you are very courageous, very extremely courageous, and
thanks,
doing
thanks.
the work you have done. And first of all, Ali, I would like you to, I don't know how much. I mean, if you tell a little bit of a story, how did you start with photography? I think this is extremely important. I mean, where you were born, how you grew up, everything. A little bit like let's make an introduction about you.
Yeah, like biography. Do you think, because what I understand, it's today you need to record and to be official, like the real video for the interview,
Yeah.
or another
No, no, it's for the
today.
interview. Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh,
It's for the
I
interview.
didn't prepare.
Yeah, the thing is about this interview is the raw interview. It's raw.
Ah, that's so good. I love that
It's
kind
the
of.
raw. Yeah.
It make me more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we are recording already, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I see.
Yeah, we are
I
recording.
see. Chosen you. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, how we can say? I think maybe you are interesting. We talk about kind of biography and how I start, and especially why I start to be an
Yeah. How did you
doing
decide
photojournalism.
to photograph?
Yeah, it's you know, it's like quite long stories, but I just made it very short. Sometimes I speak about that with a friend most of the time, but not in like an interview. I don't think so. If I spoke more about that, but if we come back, like you know, we are grow up and born in Iraq, and in the town is called Khanaqin. It's in the middle of Khanaqin. I think we is like close of Iran border. We are on the border between Iraq and Kurdistan and Iran. Originally, I am Kurdish, and but we are living in one place. We have a lot of cultures around Turkoman, Iran, Farsi, and Arab, Kurd. There's Christian, and there's a lot of cultures around in that place, and we start to learn a lot of language. And then because that time, because we are Kurdish, and in the Saddam time, Saddam regime time, and we need to leave, or we go to south, or we need to live in Kurdistan, and we decide to go to Kurdistan. I was 18 years old at that time, and then we go to Kurdistan. We decide I go to smuggler way, and then my family, like my father and my parents, they go through checkpoint. It was so hard time, and we go through. But then I quit school. I started to do like family work. There's another work. Then then because my father is artist, and we I grow up in the artistic family, and then 2004, yeah, 2004, sorry, we come back because US invasion and everything is happening, and we come back home, and I start to study fine art school,
Where
and this is what I
fine
love
art
to do.
school? Where in Erbil or
Mhm. Mhm.
where did you
What?
study fine art?
In my town, in Khanakin. I come
Hanakin.
back. I come
Yeah.
back. And that time we study in Kurdish, mother tongue. It
Hmm.
was first time we can start to use Kurdish in that town. And I start to have a camera, like film camera. I work a little bit. And then the digital camera is start to enter Iraq, like the Cybershot, like the small
Very
one,
small
the
ones.
Sony,
Yeah.
what for me a pixel or 3.2, I think something like that. And I start to document. I don't know why, but I start to document a lot. And before to start that, when I come back to my town, in that time, all the Kurdish forces they enter the town and US, and all people they start to do like celebration about this day because the Saddam regime is gone. Kurdish people they come back in the town, and there's a little bit problem with the Arab people there between Kurdish. And I grab on camera with me. I took with me like 8 million, 8 million. This is also I think it was just Cyprus or something like that, but it's like film. And I start to document, but I don't know why. And I go to Baghdad and I come back to my town. I just document everything. I was like feeling it's so important to do that. And then I see a lot of fighting between the Kurdish forces and from Arab. They need to go out. That's like conflict is start, but it wasn't big. But I start to record, hide myself. But I didn't until now. I didn't publish that footage, and because it's so strong. Then some people they told me, "Ah, you are a journalist." I didn't know. It's like,
You didn't know what you answered.
yeah, but what's mean this video with the journalism and what's the problem?
Right.
They just like I come back like after when I come to school here, I bring the um, my family. They sent to me the last year. I don't I forgot everything, but when I put and I start transfer to digital, I see, wow, really was journalism work. It's documentary, everything's every details, my all our old house and everything is happening around the building. It's like wow.
Did you
And
make
then someone,
interviews as well? Did you make
yeah, I
interviews?
do like a small, like very small. How are you? What you doing? And then someone they told me, oh, this is the journalist. Oh, this is Ali. This is our neighbor. I was like, wow. And it's that kind of I come back 40 years back, like I say, wow, this is maybe it was that the point to choosing to be journalism. But then I come back to continue art. Then with the art, it was very nice. I'm good painter and continue this work. I start to do photography, document my town. I go to village. I start work with some organization, foreigner organization. I start to be photograph for them, volunteer, and I start to focus about human. I start to understand what's happening around Iraq, oh, in my town.
Well,
But
sorry, just one point. Tell me, what did you understand what's happening in Iraq, and why did you decide to
mm,
photograph? And when
But
when you understood what was happening in Iraq, how did it change it? Your
it wasn't this time. It wasn't actually this time to understand very well
hmm
what happened around me. Because during that time, I had a company with my friend, IT, and we opened the first coffee internet in my town. It was
hmm
so slow internet. And we bring computers from Baghdad with the company every week. It was between 2004 until 2007, something like that. You know, the Civil War. And we start to go, I start every week to go to bring stuff to this company, and we work and we sell, this kind of business way. And I see horrible things in the way. I see people die, I see explosion, I see fighting inside Baghdad, I see in the way like one tank they go they just go up the one minibus. It was full of family and people. It was like really blood. And I see this. Even I remember my childhood in the Iran-Iraq war, because we are in the border. We see a lot of that body, and then the civil war also we see a lot of Kurdish fighters, Peshmerga. They die in the street. I was very like 4 or 5 years old, or six. This all memories like come up, start to be thinking, okay, I'm in the art, but what I can do with my art to transfer or help people. It was like one point is miss. And I'm saying, okay, maybe this 5 years I was in the wrong place, but what I can do. Then I start to be part of the local agency. It's called Meteorography in Suleimania. I don't know if you hear about
Yeah, of course. With
with Tamara Najm.
yeah, Sebastian, right? So
Exactly, he's my best friend,
yeah, yeah,
Sebastian.
yeah. Of course, I
We
know.
worked together since 5 years. He was the editor. He was my
Yeah,
best friend
yeah, yeah.
and supportive, even
Right.
with camera in that time. They very support me in that time, the beginning, and he was working very with assignment everywhere in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And they opened like masterclass
Right.
in Suleimania for 23 photographer around Iraq, Arab, Shia, Sunni, I don't know, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we meet in Suleimania for 10 days. Who is they invite? They invite Patrick Whitty, they invite Anastasia Tarulant, they invite Kyle Alford. Kyle Alford, I don't know if you know her. And Nusha. Now I think she's with Magnum. And then it was like first time for me to think about, and we to go to participate a master class about photo story.
Right.
It was so tough. It was so hard work, and then we go. We everyone they select ideas, and second day we meet the teacher. I was in the Anastasia group. It was very nice to meet Anastasia in that time, and I showed my work, and she was like, and then I start to work about the stories. The first story about worker in Iraq and Kurdistan between Arab and Sunni and Arab and Kurd and Yazidi in that time, Yazidi minority. Then for it was so succeed the things, and then during that 10 days, I feel something is happening.
I mean,
Uh,
something, what you mean, inside you or
exactly.
outside
Now
Iraq?
we come exactly. Now I come back to
Right.
answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
It's it was like all my memories since like 30 years or 29 years in that time, I think. Everything is start to present there.
Right.
And the camera is there and my memory is there. And I am here. Like kind of three things or three objective in one time. And why? Because these teacher when they come, they show us Iraq through the eyes of another photographer. They come to Iraq to do stories, to do project, artistic project. I don't know a lot. Like Anastasia, she was 16 years old. She went to Kandil in that time,
Mm-hmm.
like 16 years old, and me, I was like shocked. I am from Iraq. I don't know anything about
Kandil.
this,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's like why I didn't know. It
Mm-hmm.
was very good. This is my responsibility now as an artist, as a photographer, as a human. Then I continue the project. I continue with Sebastian and metography and Anastasia. This project, when I start uh, for this master class, another 3 months was the first time one Iraqi photographer do long-term project. I don't know before, but this is long-term project, journalism, documentary, photo story, following. I was really following, every day, like hours by hours, and like a lot of, and that was good because it was supported between good people, good brain. They like to create and support a local people. Why I say that, why I mentioned the name, this is a part of the history. This is a part of my history. Then Anastasia and me, we were in the same age. And and I just compare myself, wow, she is doing amazing things. She's doing her work at that age. But I'm in that age. I do a lot of things, but I didn't understand rest of the situation. It's
Well, but
happening in
this is
Iraq
something,
in a
this,
professional way.
but this is something, for example, Anastasia, she was making a work about this experience that she didn't have, and you had the experiences,
Exactly,
right? I mean,
exactly.
you didn't have the pictures, but you had the
Memories. I have
well,
all the
the
pictures here.
memory, the pictures here and this in the skin and the
Like,
heart and in your father and your mother and everything, right? And how was it difficult for you to take it out and photograph? Did you emotionally or intellectually, or even in many cases probably morally, because sometimes you touch in things in the culture that people will ask you, Ali, why are you doing that,
yeah,
right?
always.
Oh,
Always
why are
this
you doing
happening for
that?
me.
I mean,
Always
did,
this
did
happening
people
for me.
ask you, Ali, what is happening with you? What is wrong with you? you know
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is a good point to speak about because this is
yeah.
like main thing is happening. In that time,
Mhm.
it was so good. We are on the same page when we speak now.
Yeah.
In that time, really realized I need to come back on my childhood
Wow.
to have the camera to start to record because I was like feeling so bad. No anyone during that 30 years document anything in my town or anywhere it's happening around because we were in the war like 3 4 war like we didn't stop since when I born like 1982. Then I want to come back, but how I come back, there's no way. The way it was, spend time
Mm.
to have patience, start to continue and learning very well. And I know the my culture, but I need also to find a way to deal with them. Like first time when I come back to home, I just give my friend all my materials, artist, and I just bring one table with one camera and my computer. And my wife, she told me, "What do you do?" This like, what happened? And yeah, my family and my father in that time, since 5 years when I start from 2009, like I start journalism, like 5 years, they kind of not agree. And I spend a lot of money and I not come back to home from 1 month to month because I was researching around Iraq. I go everywhere. I work in that time with meteorography. I got assignment also sometime I go to the south. First time I start to see another governor in Iraq. You can imagine, since when I was 30, I see like four or five governor with the capital. This is just in Iraq.
Hmm.
And then when I start to be journalism, the camera and this amazing work, they let me to understand to start to doing research in Iraq. And I just feel I need 20 years to do one project. It was this is my dream.
Hmm.
And but it's not happening because then I start to doing story, second story about one soldier. He losing his leg. I spent with him 9 months. It was like big challenge, and everyone they speak about me bad,
Iraq
like
soldier.
families and everyone. Yeah, in
Iraq
Iraq.
soldier. From where?
Iraq soldier.
From where?
He he is from Baghdad.
From Baghdad.
He was in
Okay.
Fallujah. He was protecting in that time, 2011. This so Iraqi soldier protecting one U.S. base
No.
in Fallujah, military base, and then he go out. He wanna come back because his day of the merge, second day. He need to merge, and they put kind of explosive or something like bombing in the road, and he had that things, and he's losing his leg, and there's like big challenge in his life and change everything. A lot of problems happening. The father of the wife, he not accept because something, and I was with him. And I work kind of not just photographer or photojournalism. I start to be identification with the subject. There was like I didn't know about that
Right.
until long time ago. What is mean identification with the subject, and you need to be, but then also I say okay, if I couldn't go through very deeply. I want to go deep. And
Hmm.
this is the way I want to come back to my childhood document. I say, now I need to document the situation because it's important for future very well. And then 9 months and 4 years. It was like our friend, our photographer, they told me that is how you can do that. You do like this need money, energy, families. We cannot do that. I say, I don't know, but what's happening? And just one day is like change because
Hmm.
I feel and I see like my country where I live, how people they suffer, how people they have bad situation. That is in a negative way. Then also, what is mean the positive situation in the bad situation, and I start to try to work about the two way. But every time I looking for positive way, it was so little to find positive things.
Yeah.
But I
No, like
try
for,
to.
and this is something like, I, like me as a photographer, sometimes I struggle with because, I mean, when you show a person that's suffering, you say, oh my God, this is so negative. But at the same time, that person has dignity.
Yeah, yeah,
Suffering doesn't take dignity from her,
no, yeah,
right?
right, yeah,
She's the person is suffering, but the dignity is there, right? And it's so sometimes difficult to, I mean, I feel fear to say, oh my God, if I do this, maybe I will take this dignity from her, this person, it's, how did you deal? Because I mean, one thing is for me, for example, I photograph in one place, but when I photograph in Brazil, you know, I see, oh my God, why this, why are they doing this? It's far different, photographing in far. And then, but when my country, Brazil, is, wow, has a lot of problems. And when I photograph, I say, my God, why are you doing this? And how do you feel like, how did you feel like photographing like this, you know, people that,
The-
you know?
This is what I understand from you. You means what you work in your culture in a place you know, and you can have that pictures even.
Do
But
you know,
when you work in,
it's different. For example, it's not that the person that is from another culture, they are important, they are, they are human. I understand them as human, but somehow I know that we have some difference because they have their own story. Do you know what I mean? They're
yeah,
like, for example, I mean, I'm not responsible, let's say, for example, for the story that was before when I arrived there. But in Brazil, I am part of the story of before. Do you
yeah,
understand?
yeah.
It's
Uh,
kind of, for example, when the war started in Iraq, I wasn't there before the war.
yeah,
So you
yeah,
understand? So the mistakes
yeah,
that people did before, I wasn't there. So I
yeah.
was not making mistakes there. But in Brazil, I feel, my God, why? Why you and I and my father and my mother and everybody here,
Mm, mm, mm.
you
Yeah,
could,
yeah.
it's more
It's
personal,
happening.
I don't
It's
know.
happening. Yeah, it's happening because you're right. That is happening even for each one when they live in the same culture. They say why, but the why also you need to come back to the history. And
Mhm.
for me, I start to read book about very great writer, Iraqi writer, writing a book about history and how Iraq it's be Iraq since 100 years or 120 years after the Sykes-Picot Agreement. And I study that and I see, wow, that is personality is very different and very complicated. And I start to follow these books also to go to working about psychologically also, not just photos like shooting very nice photos and good photos. I went to marshes, Basra, Nasiriyah, Duhok, everywhere. And one thing I know, like about there's no violence between people. It just political was in Iraq, because everywhere when I go, they love each other. And they love when I say I'm Kurdish. I go everyone know anyone they tell me you are bad, come to my home. But this is the idea is coming up. For me, it was like to do some work to change this idea, to try to bring up like the peaceful in a way. And I start to work about psychologically. I go very deep and deep. Then sometime when I had assignment everywhere, and I just go with a kind of I do the assignment, but sometimes if I see it's important, I do contact, I come back. If I see the subject is important to put, there's a lot of archive I have until now. I didn't work in it because there's no time. Because like since 6, 7 years, every day I was just recording
Mhm.
like videos, photos. Like what you see, it show up like some stories I in the website and some videos. It's like kind of very a few work in my work, and then this is need energy again to work in it. And for me, yeah, it's the same feeling. It's like I think for us it's important really to work in our country. For me, it's not important if I go work another place. Even in Iraq, I didn't feel what's mean local and international or national. I don't know. It's not mean anything for me. It was meaning what I understand of my culture and what I understand for photography and journalism and ethic journalism. What must I do? Because sometimes when I realize something, I feel responsibility. Maybe that's not so good. But then I go through this work not just as a photographer or photography with a camera, no, as a human, as an artist, and as a part of the issue, as a try to find a way to not have opinion, but transferring, but in a good way and in Iraqi way. you know, because they need people and foreigner people, like if I'm in Iraq, they cannot understand the situation very well. And also, I can't transfer it. They need to leave, they need to eat, they need to go there from a years, and then they can. But for me, I want to make this a little bit shorter. Then I work about some subject is not important for media, and I didn't sell a lot of this work, as I do it. I
Mhm.
do work. I was with the seven agency, and I'm with the seven agency, and then I was like just collecting information to practice and how I can capture the moment. Then, like for me, for the first master class was like 10 days. For me, it was like could be 10 notes I put or 10. For me, this 10 notes or 10 advance, it's need 10 years.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah, because one note, if they told you you need to do a long-term project and you need to have very a part of this project in this way, and the classic photo story, like example, you need to have the all element like relationship and this and this and this, and then you need to create how many project one and two. It's need practice. You need to approve yourself, and you need to be honest with your work and honest with that people when you work with, to have good result for
Mhm.
them and me, and make them happy also,
But
and me also.
if we can now jump very far in time,
Yeah,
2017, right?
yeah,
When
you come back to the point.
Yeah, because then
A
you
good point.
understood probably the Iraqi too well, you know, and you were not accepted in Iraq anymore, right? You had to leave Iraq,
Yes.
you know.
uh,
Yeah. How
Yeah, before Iraq, they not accept me. I knows that, and we decide with the seven agency to go,
leave
just
Iraq?
go out that time. Yeah,
Yeah. And how was I mean, how was for you? I mean, you were embedded with special forces of the Iraqi Federal Police.
yeah, it was Iraqi. It was ERD is a part of Iraqi Federal Police. It's like kind
Yeah,
of now maybe they separate after when I go out.
but
I
they
think
were
so.
the green ones, right? With the green uniform.
Exactly, the
Yeah,
green. Yeah, you know
the
that.
green
You know,
uniform.
there's blue and green, but they
Yeah,
work together.
I was with the Iraq police with the blue uniform. You
Ah,
know.
you went in Iraq.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I was there in Mosul all the time.
Ah, yes, 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 yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
And what time you was in Mosul? You
From
were.
the beginning to the end. You know.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
We didn't meet there. We never met
No,
there. No.
no. But even you was with the blue people, Iraqi Federal Police, and I was with.
Yeah. But the
And did you see
green, you
anything?
were staying. Where was the base? Where the base I was staying was by the airport in Mosul. When they entered Mosul, we stayed by the airport.
Well, I'm started from Fallujah with them. Like I'm
Yeah,
started from April.
yeah, yeah. But the
Uh,
base from the green ones were outside Mosul.
when they start in Guyana,
Yeah,
Guyana with the
yeah,
oil,
yeah,
Yeah, we start before Guyana. There's a base, U.S. base,
yeah.
U.S. Army base, and ERD was behind exactly.
Mm-hmm.
In Fallujah, they don't accept them,
Mm-hmm.
but in Mosul they accept them. I don't know how.
Yeah.
And we were there, and
Right.
there was first step. Second step, when they go through close of the Mosul,
Yeah.
and we change the base.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
remember the base I stayed once in this base of the special force was in this I forgot the name of this village before Mosul, far before Mosul.
very far.
Yeah, like some 30 kilometers, something like that.
This is like Christian,
No, no,
or
no,
it
no.
was
Before Mosul, I mean, coming from Kayara, the
Gabriel Abed,
hmm?
Gabriel Abed.
Gabriel Abed, yeah,
This
where they
Hammam
had
al
the base
Ali.
there.
Yeah, yeah. They had a base there, like a second part between Iraqi Federal Police and them. They
Yeah.
were there.
And then by the airport, they had a group near the river.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
Yeah,
I didn't arrive there. I just go after that in Kokishli, something like that.
Kokoshli, huh?
It's
Yes.
yeah. I went there. There's another base. It
Yeah.
was the second base from the head after Gayara.
Mm-hmm.
But I stay 1 month in Gabel Abed.
Okay.
Everything is happening in Gabel Abed.
Yeah.
Everything's close of the river, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and then everything is happening in that time because maybe I couldn't see if the coalition army, they if not stop the operation that time, they stopped from 1 month. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you remember. And we
Yes.
stay in one place. I was to stay at home, and sometimes they bring some people. They go, and it's happening, and I start. Everything is getting worse and worse and worse. And then I was finishing the assignment from Der Spiegel,
Mm-hmm.
and they told me, okay, please continue the Happy Baghdad project and also your film documentary about us when you start from Fallujah. I will bring for you another permission. And they bring for me another permission. I stay. Yeah. And then everything is happening, you see in the media.
Yeah. And how was for you, like, to photograph the sections of torture? I mean, because I
It
was
was,
once I only experienced once a section of similar torture that one you photographed, and I couldn't photograph it, but I had things in my head, well, that I don't want to talk about.
no, no, it's fine because
But anyhow, there was things on my head like memories from my childhood, that when I saw that things happening, I just like
stop, don't do
yeah,
anything.
yes,
Okay. It's a part of small traumatized or big traumatized in childhood. Could
yeah,
be. Okay. No, it's fine. Um, yeah, it was for me. It was like I was very warm with work, with the following, like doing, the story,
hmm,
the continue and finish the positive story. And because for me, I was in the Fallujah, when I decided to work with them, like in the base, I stay with them 3 days, and 2 times I see them in the front line. Every time I call them, they didn't invite me, and I ask myself why, but they accept I follow them, but I stay in the base, but I go with the media of everywhere. Even I saw another things in Fallujah I recorded, and I speak about that in the. I don't know if you see the my conversation or my presentation in United. I was called in Geneva.
no, I haven't
Uh,
seen.
you can there's in the YouTube.
Is it
It's
online?
1 hour. Yeah, yeah, online. 1 hour and a half.
Okay,
I will send you after.
right, yeah,
It's
please,
explain all the thing,
right,
everything,
yeah,
and with the pictures, with the videos, everything.
yeah,
Then when I came in Europe in that time, and I was like 40 days in Europe doing another project and assignment, and I come back. I had the invitation, like another assignment from UN. to follow the manager. He go to meet the minister, prime minister, and I do photograph and some camps. And then Der Spiegel, they call me, and then I go. And then I didn't see anything, and even I didn't hear a lot of things. And during that time, I had like TEDx talk, this stage, and I present my work because I did the Happy Baghdad video about them. It was like was so good for all people, and there's a lot of followers, good comment because TEDx Baghdad they see that video and they invite me to speak about that and my work, and kind of I show them heroes, and because it was kind of artistic and
Right.
journalism, like mixing. Then I do that because I want to fix that, even that issue between Sunni and Shia, because they are both they fighting together
Hmm.
against ISIS. Was that ideas like romantic ideas about work and
Yeah.
fixing something,
Cultural
but I
religious.
didn't realize what will be waiting for me.
Right.
then then I think each one they have his personality and ideas and how he's grow up from his family. That's one. This have effect. Two, where he's work, which with which agency. I was in that time. Still, I'm in the mentor program in 742. They extended for me with Ed Kashi. You.
Hmm. I interviewed Ed.
Yeah, I see. He's my best
Amazing,
friend. My
amazing,
best
amazing.
teacher. He's so
Amazing.
great. It was
Yeah.
like 4 years. We can say 6 years with me mentor program.
Right.
That is unusual. It's not happening. Then, that's background. But even you are inside this thing, sometimes you are a bit far away of everything, and you every day following. You eat. You tired. You do this, and
Hmm.
suddenly I start to I will not speak very details about because there's a lot
Yeah,
of
sure.
details. Suddenly, it's still like show up something here, show up something here, without just I see and they didn't accept. And for me, it was like shocked. And then I'm saying maybe this is another group they do once.
Hmm.
Then they told me you can do the sorry, you can do the you can do the which name the interview of the investigation or introduction, something like that. No,
Yeah.
introduction.
Interrogation. Yeah.
Interrogation, yeah, exactly. And I did interrogation. Sometimes they start to piece it, and I was the video was open, and the guy told me, oh, "Okay, Ali, I cannot every time to tell you stop, please." Then you cut for the montage.
Mm.
But I after that I will tell you which kind of technique I use for shooting video and photos because
Hmm.
for me it was so important. All my trip like from 2 3 years I doing that way, and just ask me to not forget because I think it's what's important to record and document in a good way,
Right.
and with one camera sometime or two camera. And then it's happening like 5 6 day, and they invite me, come with me, we go to have bring this guy in this village in the Gabriel Abed, and I just follow them. Oh, he's ISIS. We do that, and then like 10 days ago, and Omar and Haider, these two guy, and they come when I follow them. Like especially I was with them. This was my stories. Then when they arrive, and they kind of they ask me a lot. They do something, and you know, and like kind of 3 days asking question because I was recorded a little bit, and they know. Then I say this is about work, and they told me, yeah, they are ISIS. You need to cut them, and I say I don't know if they are ISIS or not. Until now, I see they are a civilian. I
Hmm.
was like speaking this way, and where, what will happen with them? I say, okay, we will just put them in the office, and then we send them to Baghdad to have in the jail or. to have prosecution. Then I went, they invite me both in the office and they show me, wow, I see people they had, but without camera. They told me, put your camera in, there's no, sorry, first day I took it, but it was like with me. It's like, and why is, why they bring me here and why they show me this? And,
Right.
you see,
I
I
know the
think
feeling. Yes. Yeah.
you
Why
read
are they
the
showing me that?
stories.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you read the stories very well. I speak honest about everything. I don't like to repeat it again, but anyone they can read it. Then they let me, okay, took your camera at home, let's go somewhere. And they put some people and they start to looking for people, for women. The sister of some brother, they are in the jail. It's like crazy. And
Yeah.
for me, that night I didn't sleep in the morning. I was say,
Yeah.
wow, what is this?
Were you afraid of,
Yeah, start be a little bit in that time because I didn't know what is the things, what will be happen and why they ask me. And then there's no way to come back. They need someone, they bring you back.
hmm
You cannot escape if anything is happening.
you
There's a
need
lot of
them to
things.
bring you around? Yes. You are
Yeah,
in their hands. Yeah.
yeah. And then they need to test me and what I can do because I have the footage. And then I didn't say anything and I just went at home because even I didn't ask them to follow even one times. Like follow them if there's someone searching or they're searching. I need all they let me to do after. This is all. And because I was there, like I was sometimes there's a normal soldiers when I bring the camera, they don't speak, sometimes not, wasn't depend. But that night, what happened for me, it's like I said, what is this? I need to investigate more. I need to know more. And did they did this often, or they did it every day? And what's happening around? And
hmm
and it was like first 3 week, last 3 week when I escaped, or not escape when I just leave in that place. And then the situation we start to move step by step. But with the movement, also they do something bad. They go occasionally they do a lot of things bad, and I was there. And also, sometimes they told me, "Okay, bring your camera. We go. We have four people. We bring it and we shoot them." And when they bring it, they shoot them in the way they torch them, and they bring in the place they torching them. And then I was like, start to my camera. My body is not hold anything because I know I need to go back, but there's no way. And I am scared to say also I need to go back. I was like stuck for 4 week, like for last 4 week. I'm stacking a little bit. First time when I go back, they send someone. They come go to Suleimani, and after that they come my place. No, no, let's go back. Let's go back. There's a lot of things happening, and I go when I come back and I start to study everything. How was it, and how was around me? But I was really thinking in a wise way. Then continue silent every time I do work every day. They eat, this all photograph and videos, document in a way like for a documentary film. Then suddenly they start to show me videos
Right.
how they
On the
kill the
mobile
same
phone.
people. Yeah, and someone they send me the videos how they kill someone, and oh, you can use it in your documentary. And say, how did you accept? Yes, 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 sure. I said, what? I didn't know. It was like some of them was like, wow. And the same people when I see the tradition with them, like investigation with, I see the video, I come back to see it. I say, okay, this is, he is innocent, because he don't have anything, and not just one and two and three and four and five and six, like all, because there was like his brother or maybe his relative. They took them to have information, and there's some kind of group is come from the militia. They start to kill people, and also some of them they do, or sometime during the churching they die
Mhm.
because it was cold and was so hard. Some of them they heart is stop. Some of them they are sick and they cannot hold it and they die. This is what I hear about. Then I hear a lot of things also for between them, how the Iraqi Federal Police what they did, the militia Hashd al-Sha'bi what they did, and about the golden force I didn't hear. But sometimes someone they told me something, but I didn't hear a lot. But I'm surprised if you stay there, why how you didn't see you see once, but
I see many times. I mean, I saw once in a house where we were staying. You know, uh, this was the time when I couldn't. Was during the night. We were sleeping in a house, and I woke up in the middle of the night with the men, screaming, and then I
same the
and
first
then
time.
I went to the room, and they looked at me, you know, and I was like petrified. First, I was lying in the bed. I was in the bed, and I was, oh my God, let's try to sleep. I didn't want to hear that. You know, but then I say, okay, let's go see it, and then I saw. They looked at me, and they say nothing like, if I should take nothing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
They
they will not
just
say.
like keep to doing it, and
Yeah,
and a few other times. But for me it was the worst. I mean, not the worst. One very special moment was in 17th of July. 10 days after the war was declared over. You know,
yeah,
they didn't want to allow any journalist to go inside Mosul. They said no journalists. But I became a very good friend
yeah.
with
Because my story,
yeah, I
because
became
it's
a very good
published in
friend.
May.
Sorry.
You speak about 2017 in July or
July.
2000.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because in May, what happened with the stories and they publish everything,
yeah,
and I hear a lot of like some journals they send me some bad things like,
yeah,
why you do that now we cannot. This very famous
yeah.
journalist.
So yes, exactly. That was because of your story. Exactly.
Yeah,
Because they said no more journalists.
well,
But you know Colonel Shaka. Have you heard of Colonel Shaka? He was the colonel
w-
for the federal
yeah,
police.
yeah, yeah, Colonel Shaker. Oh yeah,
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 Colonel Shaka. And I became a really good friend of Colonel Shaka. You know, I
yeah,
mean, I was a really good. He didn't like journalists, whatever, but we know he was fun. And I could call Colonel Shaka, and then he said, "Oh, well, I'll bring Andre." And then he sent a Humvee to bring me. And then I was there July 17th. 7 days after, because they declared the war over was July the
yeah,
10th,
yeah,
and
yeah.
um,
Right.
and then was there in the old bridge, you know,
Yes, yeah.
by the old bridge in the old city, and they were killing the very very last is IS fighters, and the
Wow,
IS fighters they were trying to swim across the river, but they couldn't, so they captured them in the river. And I saw when they they were killing them by the bridge, you know.
wow. You saw that?
Yes, and
That must hungry.
there was this one one that always say to me, "Are you afraid of me?" you know. And I said, well, I'm not afraid of you. I said, no, of course I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
he looked at me,
Wow.
why not? And then I said, my God, he wants me to be afraid of him, I said, you know.
Yeah.
But at
Yeah.
one point, I understood that if I said to him, okay, I'm afraid of you, then boom, then they would like kill me
Yeah.
somehow, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. They can and say the ISIS they kill you. No,
Yeah,
it's
but then I
fine.
said, why? Well, say, why you're not afraid of me? Say, because no one told you to kill me, you know,
Okay.
because no one told you to kill me. You won't kill me because you if you don't have an order. And he looked at it, yes, you know, yes. But
And you can imagine all of them like this.
yeah, because
All the
you know, I made him at the time. I made him to feel that he was a good soldier. You know that he was following
same,
the orders.
same. Yeah. 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 I think these people they did horrible things and they need to clean their face. You know that's and
And when you so sorry when you talked about the videos, and man, was like July was like 50 degrees, really hot. So many dead people all over, dead
wow.
people everywhere. The smell was horrible, you know, because the smell coming
The
from the city
yeah.
was horrible. And you know, these people, man, there was once showed me a video in his mobile phone that was not of the war, was of sex, like a woman and a dog,
Wow.
you know, like this woman, you know, there was a porn movie of bestiality,
Yeah.
and all that thing, everybody dead, all that thing happening, you know, and this man showing me this video, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like enjoying it. And I said, my God, when, you know, and I was alone, completely alone there because no other journalist could be there, you know.
Yeah.
Man, it was like, wow, you know.
Yeah. And they start to scare and they start to because you know no anyone the people I faced this a lot of questions for the people like how you embedded how you had these pictures and but they don't understand very well how is it because they need like they really need if I start to work about the documentary and to show all the details and then maybe they can understand but they have
Yeah,
right to ask and also I don't have that energy and time to finish that work and this is very huge work to do then between that and this and people they wait and they said okay how this is amazing picture this is very artistic pictures very good pictures very nice say but I don't see it very nice and very good and
yeah,
you know the people and they mention this and then and they ask me how and yeah you know it's like you need to explain and explain and explain and explain the problem they cannot understand the situation because they don't know the culture how it work and even I'm from Iraq and
yeah. And you
I
know,
see
Ali, one thing
language.
that happened with me too, like, you know, I don't want to talk about me, but now, you
No,
know,
no, I love to help you. I don't
yeah,
know.
but it's
I
like
know these stories.
at one point, I had no idea how to photograph that thing.
Hmm.
You know, I
Oh,
had no idea how to photograph. I felt like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing here. You know, even the
the
pictures.
first time.
If I show you that there was one picture, you know, because it was by the river, and there were like many. I mean, in my Instagram, after I can send you some pictures, but by the river there were so many children dead, babies, you know, babies,
Wow.
and there is a picture of one little baby, you know. I think this baby, you know, I don't know if it was a girl or a boy, because it was like, you know, I couldn't see the
Yeah.
sex, but the baby was very dirt, very small. It could be like, I don't know, 1 or 2 months old, not more than 2 months.
Wow.
And the baby was dressing a t-shirt, a camouflage t-shirt, as like a
Wow.
fighter, you
Wow.
know. And my God, when I saw that baby, and the soldiers were walking, and I had to walk over all dead people. It was, there were so many dead people there,
Wow. Wow.
like thousands of dead people, thousands.
Wow.
You know,
We didn't see any pictures in this. I know
yeah.
because it was
This was um, a thing that I thought a lot about, because I tried to sell these pictures at the time, and
they didn't say no.
no one were interested.
Yeah.
No, the only one that were the only that showed interest about the time was Human Rights Watch, because they knew that a big thing had happened there, and they called me, Human Rights Watch, and said, "Oh, we heard that you have been there." I say, "Yes, I have been there." "Oh, can you tell us what happened?" And I say, "Yes, but slow down, you know." So we talked on the phone. I never gave them the authorization to publish anything. 10 minutes after, there was
Just
like, "Oh no, independent witness saw that." I said, "Oh, I'm not an
wow.
independent witness. I'm a journalist. You are
Yeah.
putting me at risk."
And yeah, risk, and you are in the place not yet in the safe.
You know,
Well,
Man, I had to call the writer for Human Rights Watch, and I had a big fight with them. Say, take it off. You know, th-
well,
do not mention. You should have
well.
asked me if, before.
And they publish the photo, or just they write something.
They wrote. They were writing. I
They
never
wrote.
gave. They were writing. They saw that all this confirmed by independent witnesses, and I was the only one there. I said, well, forget. They know that who the independent witness was. But Ali, let
But
me ask you one thing. Do you
but
blame
before
them?
that, I'd like before your question, sorry, just I want to say something because with my experience with that work, then I'm not. I'm working with assignment and this, but I'm also not. I was working with my project most of the time. I didn't really go through editors because I didn't have time, and I don't know the way. And I was in Iraq. And
Mhm.
everything is going through seven agency, and then the things it's what do you feel about? You told me interesting pictures. If it's you feel it's really good for a human way, and that's very good if they publish, but they not. Why? You know why? Like I know why for myself because I go through that. I know which agency, which place, which TV, and why they do that, why they don't like, how they have link. There's all. It's part of the military. Any military, the coalition military, they are in Iraq. They kind of have like they have a filter.
Mhm. Mhm.
They can't do something if against any of this military.
Yes,
Uh,
and it's amazing
I don't
because,
know if
like,
you
you
feel that or
remember.
not.
Do you remember? Because at the same time was happening in Aleppo. Russia was attacking Aleppo. And then everybody, wow, Russia is killing. All the newspapers were blaming Russia because what was happening in Aleppo. But the same happened in Mosul as well. They destroyed Mosul.
Yeah,
And the Americans, they were bombing with the
yeah.
fighter jets. They were
There's a lot
killing
of
many people.
civilians there. Yeah,
Many, many. I mean, I all the pictures like by the river, all the people. I mean, there were thousands, like many
wow,
children. You know,
wow.
even what I said, even if there were children of ISIS, these children had nothing to do with ISIS. I mean, they were
Mm.
born by their parents. You know,
Yeah, I know.
maybe I don't know. But
Wow.
I said, do you blame these soldiers, Ali? How do you
like
feel about
like
them? How do you feel about these people?
um that is a good question. Because I spent a long time with them, we get friend and it
Yeah.
was so good and we have very good relationship. But then for me, like in a human way, professional way, and to know what is the bad, what is not, in a way, even it was bad for myself. I decide my decision to continue to do this, and then I didn't think to do something bad about them or write about them until when I was like, make sure 100%, 100%. Then I contact my agency and they know and we discuss and they said, this is crime. It's finished. When I know, like in the end, I know very well because I see these people, they get killed without go back to Baghdad or send them to Baghdad. And my agency, in that time, we had like group meeting with a, photographer. And they told me this is kind of, this is like crime, war crime. And it's like kind of make sure 100% if I decide like it's finished. Then I try to come back and find a way to come back
Mm.
and I decide. The decision was not, it's not about them. I don't have any personal things with them. It's something about the society, something about
Yes.
Iraq, this
Mm.
something about the military. Who is them? They are not. For me now, the system of the way when they deal like Iraqi Federal Police, Hajj Sha'abi militia, and these maybe not Golden Forces. I don't know because I wasn't with them.
Yeah.
They all they are not Iraqi. If they are Iraqi, they can the way or the mentality of them, the leader they guide these militaries. They are not 100%. You can say supporting Iraqi people. They are part, of Iran or part of these politics like Badr or part of these militias.
Yeah.
And if you come back for this history of the leader, he was in the prison in Puka,
Mm-hmm.
like in Iraq. Puka is like Guantanamo, like yeah. And there's like they are not doing 100% for Iraq. Like for ISIS, okay, ISIS is bad. I need to. Um,
But at the same time, just at the same time, you must have seen, because what I what I think is, like, I've seen people there practicing extreme good. They were donating their lives because you saw so many young soldiers dying. It was like, for these soldiers, for them to die, they were so common. They died so many soldiers.
yeah,
And I've seen some soldiers doing the most heroical things, like helping civilians, or even their friends, like helping their friends. I've seen uh, things that were like, oh my God, how and at the same time, in the end, I think they would just like want to, oh my God, I just want to go back home, and I don't want to
they
fight
they
anymore.
have. We can say that Iraqi people with a culture, you
Hmm.
know, that's different. There's kind of they have a two personality, and the good way, the family and the friend, and they do everything very good. And then when they could be very aggressive also,
Hmm.
and they have feel right
But
to
this is
do
a
anything.
human,
This is also
yeah,
part of the culture,
yeah. But this is a human
traditionally.
thing, isn't it? Like, I think this is in Brazil, man. Brazil. I mean, we don't have a war, but every year, 60,000 people die by, shooting each other.
Yeah, it's kind of
60,000, 60,000, a lot.
and now until Iraq. Like if someone they killed my son, I will kill his brother, his son,
Right.
one by one. That's
Yeah.
like killing should be killing, or
Revenge.
maybe the revenge. That the revenge, exactly. The revenge for them was like for this group I have, like continue and work with them,
Mhm.
and some of them is like revenge for Shia, for Iran part. Some of them sadistic, they do something they like to do it like for fun.
Mm.
Some of them they have problems. They are sick.
Mhm.
They have a problem. They cannot sleep with wife, and I know they do the sickness. I know. I think so. And some of them they are gay. They do with man. This I saw everything.
Yes, I saw this too. I mean, they were
Yeah,
pretty open about homosexuality there.
yeah,
They were pretty
yeah.
open. I mean, I was amazed how actually open they were about homosexuality. Very, very,
Um,
I mean,
yeah, it's
what a big
crazy.
deal.
Then for me,
Yeah,
I don't have any personal issue with them.
yeah.
I have a issue for the society, issue for the mentality, issue why if you come to Iraq to say okay Saddam is bad, but you did bad
Hmm.
more in Saddam and his soldiers, and you say ISIS they are bad, but you do more than them also.
Yeah. But when you talk about
ISIS
this is
he's
something
when
really
he did
interesting.
something,
You know,
yeah,
when
ISIS when he did something, he do it and he publishes. He says I did this, but they
right,
are with the name of the factory, yeah.
yeah,
They go to liberation place and say okay, and they do everything, but they stealing, raping, killing, everything you cannot imagine.
yeah,
And they sometimes they took like I have recorded. Sometimes they took people, rich people. Like this is before because sometimes conversation is coming up. They speak about record.
hmm,
They speak about someone. They arrest him because he has a lot of money. And then they took a lot of money from him and they released him again.
hmm.
And this is like information about them. It's like, yeah, what do you want to say?
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's very interesting because, like, when you say about the homosexuality, because I mean, there was one thing that the repression of the emotions and feelings, they end up making violence because they can't, like, be who they are, right? Just free.
Yeah.
But Ali, we've been talking here for 1 hour, a little bit more actually than 1 hour, and man, I
Wow.
would continue to talk with you forever, but
We
people will
can
need to
have.
watch the movie. But I have just one question to you, basically, basically two questions. And I want you to
Okay.
answer me that, please. What is photography and what have you learned from it?
Oh my gosh. With my experience, I told you I can start with the second person. What I learned from, it was good. He let me come back to my childhood to record everything again, and this is make me happy. And part of try to say something part of this history, like in the history, and to be part of the society, and try to change, try to show another generation, like especially in Iraq, because I'm part of Iraq. And also now when I'm working also, I continue stories like since 3 years, even with phone, even with camera, with video. It's allowed me to access any culture because I was succeed to do with my culture. That was so important. And then now when I go, maybe a little bit difficult, but this led me to understand another culture. And that was so good. And this has let me go to the art school to study cinemas and lithography and photography again. And what's mean photo for me? It's I don't know what I can say because when I realize uh, when I realized in that time the first masterclass I speak with you about the camera when I have I didn't know anything about, and when I realize in the concept way what is mean story, what is mean uh, the concept of the journalism, why we need to document, then the photos start to be mean for me. Photos change my whole life for a good way, and I don't have any things of photo, but photo is part of my eyes and life and everything, and I can express myself very well with photograph, more in art. But now I did a new kind of new technique between art and video and photo. That is another way. Maybe this will be second or part of my career or my way of doing photography.
Mm.
I don't know if you understand me very well or not.
I understand you well, my brother, and I learn a lot with you. Learning a
No,
lot
thank
with you.
me too. Yeah.
Learning a lot with you.
Okay,
Ali, thank you very much, my brother.
thank you.
What a beautiful person you are. I
No,
hope to
thank
see
you.
you soon. Stay well there with
Yeah,
your family. You know,
let's. And I'd love to speak with you more. And next time maybe we can speak
we have to.
private.
Yeah. Okay, brother. Take
Okay,
care.
thank you very much.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Thank you. Bye.